Well, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development takes action against tenants making too much money while living in public housing. Kimberly Kurth has more in this follow-up to our Fox 8 investigation of unfair housing.
Our Fox 8 investigation uncovered public housing tenants in Louisiana making nearly $144,000 a year, over $115,000 in a second case, almost $129K in another. And the list went on from New Orleans to the West Bank to down the bayou. And your tax dollars help pay their rent, all while thousands of low-income families are on waiting lists across the state in need of affordable housing. Now HUD, the federal agency that oversees public housing, is calling for public comment on the issue as they consider implementing a new rule to limit affordable housing to those who truly need it.
I was shocked to find that we've got people making a lot of money who are choosing to live in affordable housing, and nobody is doing a dadgum thing about it. And that's nothing more than stealing from taxpayers and stealing from the people who really need the housing. And shame on them. Every one of them ought to be prosecuted as far as I'm concerned.
State Treasurer John Kennedy called for an investigation after seeing our report. He tells us by phone today the new HUD rule is long overdue.
Appreciate Fox 8 doing this story. This is another issue that probably never would have come to light. I'm sorry y'all have to do government's job for government, but I'm glad that you did.
Our investigation also found over-income tenants living in Jefferson Parish, some making as much as $59,000 and $64,000 a year. Councilmember Chris Roberts says that's unacceptable.
The comments they're going to hear from the public, they're not going to like. The public is infuriated by it. It's a clear abuse. It's something that should not occur.
Right now, to qualify, public housing authorities check to make sure tenants meet their income eligibility. Then each year, they check again to calculate how much taxpayer assistance they should get. But the law does not require public housing authorities to evict tenants once they become over income. That's something Kennedy says has to change.
We shouldn't need a government rule to do this. The local public housing authorities have dropped the ball here. They ought to be enforcing this rule as a matter of common sense.
The Jefferson Parish Housing Authority adopted a policy to address over-income tenants last month that gives them a year to find somewhere else to live. The executive director of the Housing Authority of New Orleans says they will follow HUD's rulemaking process closely. And HUD wants your input on questions like what period of time should be allowed for an individual or family to find alternative housing, or should HUD require a local appeals process for families deemed over income?